Hi! Today I'm here with special guest, Kez.
Hi, I'm Kez. I'm co-founder of The Time Ladies, which is a feminist Doctor Who blog, and ex-co-worker of Sana's and current friend.
I'm so excited about this video. So we discussed this ages ago.
Yeah.
Because we were both really big fans of costume dramas, period dramas. We thought it would be fun to do a video about our 10 favourites.
10 plus just a few cheeky
Some bonus
extras.
ones. So this has been, I won't say a fight.
Pistols at dawn.
We went out for lunch and we brought a postcard and have been writing down. So this top 10, they're all ones that we've both seen and both love, and then we're going to throw in some bonus ones.
I've realised that actually costume drama is basically anything that is set in the past.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
But maybe like our perception of what a costume drama is I don't know, like 1920.
But I think most of the things we have are Georgian, Victorian, like Regency, which I think is within Georgian. I have to do a bit of research on this. So for me, they're the ones that I've rewatched so many times, or some that I've only seen once, but they immediately come up as like, oh, that's really stuck with me.
I feel like part of maybe, and this is definitely not within like the genre of costume dramas, but just in my mind, it's like rewatchability and also like coziness.
Should we just start at the top? What do you think?
Yeah, let's just start with the top. Let's go in hard.
Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre.
This is where the conflict starts.
It already starts. So you talk about your Jane Eyre.
So my favourite Jane Eyre is, I'm going to say it's 2006. It's Ruth Wilson. I have done an interview with Ruth Wilson, which is basically like my dream coming true, because I tried to not mention Jane Eyre so much in that interview. I was like, secretly, that's all I'm thinking. I mean, I'm not going to explain the story of Jane Eyre. We'll leave that up to you to watch the trailer if you haven't read the book. But what I love about this version, I think Ruth Wilson has such, like, because she's quite young in that one. I think it was one of her first big parts. To me, she has like such a distinctive look, and I think she just sells that role of Jane Eyre really feeling like she doesn't belong anywhere. Both of our favourites use the same filming location, which is really interesting, and I love Mr. Rochester in it. It's a little bit of a dark version, I'd say. It's maybe a little bit more rambunctious than
That's such a
than
great
yours.
word.
And it's a mini-series, so it's not film.
I do mostly prefer mini-series over films, just because you get the detail.
More time with it.
Saying that, I actually prefer the film version of Jane Eyre. It's Mia Wasikowska. I think that's how you say her name. Apologies, Mia, if I've said that wrong. I think she's like a perfect Jane. I love her. I mean, I think Ruth Wilson is great as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's very different. I feel like the miniseries is like Wild Child Jane Eyre, and I don't know how you feel about how the film does it, but I feel like it's more, I don't want to say demure, but that's kind of the vibe I get from it. But you've probably seen it more recently than I have. I watched it on a plane, which is,
that's also not,
to be honest, not the best way to watch it.
I think you need to give it another chance.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more like formal, and Jane definitely isn't wild. She is very Victorian. She's very together. Yeah. But then actually, like, my favourite part of the whole film is when she leaves and when she's on the moors. And that part is just like,
they have done that really beautifully.
Incredible. And I think I have to say that I think the look of the film is more Jane Eyre than the miniseries is, because I think it's like,
they filmed it so beautifully.
Exactly. Like the director of photography, like it looks so Bronte sisters as well. I just think it's like one of the best film adaptations from book to film. There's also a drama called To Walk Invisible that was on...
This is a bonus one.
Yeah, it's a cheeky little bonus. It was on the BBC, I think around Christmas time a couple of years ago, and it's a drama about the Bronte sisters, about their writing, about their family relationships with their father and their brother. It was really interesting because it's like seeing the story behind the story. And it was just like, they're such three incredible women. Yeah. But they're also just normal. That's the main thing I found.
I've never watched anything about them, so I have no idea what they're like. I went to the Bronte parsonage. That's an upcoming video from the archives. But yeah, I don't know that much about like their personalities, I guess. Okay, number 2. I don't think we have loads to say about this one, but is Emma, 2009.
Yeah, BBC miniseries with Romola Garai playing Emma.
Mr. Knightley in that, I think, is perfect as well. It's so funny.
I think we're moving into the Austen area now. And it's also got Tamsin Greig, who's playing one of the ladies who's in the village with her mum. The ones who they always feel sorry for. Yeah. Oh my god, I feel so bad for those characters. But anyway, Emma is such a breath of fresh air in comparison to other Jane Austen, just because she's a bit of a bitch.
And she's just so wrong all the time, and you're reading it and you're like, what are you doing? And it ends, you know, it all ends well, like any Austen novel does. But it is just really fun to watch, and it is different from, I think, the usual, like, period drama.
Yeah, definitely. And it's different. I feel like I way prefer Romola playing her than Gwyneth Paltrow in the film.
I need to rewatch that. I like, it is, the Gwyneth Paltrow one is really fun, though.
Yeah.
But it's different.
I feel like they're both really good at playing them, and it must be such a fun part to play.
The big discussion, you guys already know how I feel about this. Pride and Prejudice. When we were discussing this, we didn't know in advance, like, who liked which version. Yeah. So I'm a Keira Knightley fan, and you're a BBC miniseries. Yeah. We like different versions of different things, but it's not like one likes all the modern ones and one likes all the, like, miniseries.
No.
The cinematography of the Keira Knightley one, the music, probably my favourite film of all time. I've watched that film like 50 times. I just love everything about it. I literally have no complaints.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it is stunning. One thing that I find, this is probably starting a fight already, one thing I find really strange is, like, the Bennet house is like a farm, and I'm like, that is not their house.
I read Pride and Prejudice once ages ago, so I think I'm so much more familiar with that film.
Yeah.
And with the general plot, but not with the details of the book. What do you like about the BBC miniseries?
There's a lot of things that I really like. It's really bad because I don't even know the actress's name who plays Lizzie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even
She's
think
so iconic.
She's so iconic, but then I also can't really think what else I've seen her in. Alison
I'm gonna Google it so I can look at a picture.
Who plays Mrs. Bennet, who's the most perfect
Mrs. Bennet. So annoying.
Woman who plays Lydia as well is also like a perfect Lydia. And then Colin Firth, come on.
I mean, yes, okay. Because I hadn't seen that one until, like, I watched it a couple years ago and then watched it again. I didn't make the connection that in Bridget Jones, it's like Colin Firth, and then it's I did not realise.
And then in the book, she goes to interview Colin Firth.
I didn't like Jane in the old one.
I don't like her
No,
either.
I don't think she's right. I don't think she's right, yeah. But I'm rereading the book now because I was rereading all of Austen. If you're waiting for that video, it's coming really soon because I am on the last one. I'm on Pride and Prejudice, which I saved for last. I found that Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, I just know so well through the adaptations that when you're reading it, you're like, yep. Yeah, oh, that's a paragraph I haven't heard of before. Like, that's what it feels like.
I think the reason why I do like the miniseries so much is because they basically do it chapter by chapter. Yeah. Like, it's so long. Yeah. It's not like you can watch it in an evening. Like, if you don't know about it. I mean, it's pretty iconic, but you'd have to watch it over weeks. It's really, really long, but it means they just get everything.
Yeah. Sense and Sensibility is next. I swear we're moving away from Austen. There's one more, and then we're moving away from Austen. This one, we like both of them. We both like both of them.
Yeah.
So there's the film with Alan Rickman,
Emma Thompson,
Kate Winslet,
Hugh Grant.
Man, that film, it's beautiful. And then there is the newer miniseries, which I think a lot of people might not have seen, which is a BBC miniseries. It's really recent.
Dominic Cooper.
I actually don't know any of the names of the actors.
I watched it really recently when I was ill, and it was just like medicine. It was so cozy. I mean, I think always where they film Sense and Sensibility is always beautiful, like the little cottage that they have.
Just like to remind yourself of who our beautiful Regency men are.
The Marianne is perfect.
Eleanor, I think, is perfect as well in such a different way than Emma Thompson was. Oh yeah, and oh my god, Willoughby's really good.
Yeah, Dominic Cooper.
I don't know how I feel about Colonel Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not as eligible as Alan Rickman.
Maybe we're just seeing it from a personal perspective of like, who do we want? I was thinking about Jane Austen the other day because I was watching Fleabag and I was thinking about how Jane Austen writes so many amazing, different, multi-layered female characters, and how like Anne Elliot is so different from Emma, and she just writes so many different women. Yes. And it's amazing.
And you all know people like them as well.
Exactly. Like, it translates through to today. And I was thinking about Killing Eve and about Fleabag, and I was thinking, nobody else writes women today like Phoebe Waller-Bridge does. I just think she's the new Jane Austen, basically, because who else writes women? Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
That are all individual and interesting and different and multifaceted. So, Phoebe, you're the new Jane Austen. Love me.
Next one, really quick note. Lost in Austen.
Yes, it's a Lost Austen, but it's kind of not Austen, but it is.
Yes. It's about a character in modern day times, but it turns into a costume drama, so I think we're okay. Her boyfriend's kind of like not that nice. She's really into Pride and Prejudice. Then there's like a secret door in her bathroom that opens up and Elizabeth Bennet is there.
Just casual.
They swap by accident. And then she's at the start of Pride and Prejudice and she's like, I know this. I'm going to make sure this all goes well. And it just goes horribly immediately. It's so funny.
It's absolutely hilarious. And it's just the fact, like, even when you just say, like, oh yeah, it's just a door into, like, Pride and Prejudice and a bathroom.
It works. It's fine, it works. It's just you just have to go with it. Yeah.
It's as batty as it sounds, and it's just so much fun. Oh, and Lizzie Bennet is amazing in modern day times as well, which you can totally imagine she would absolutely boss today if she just completely switched places.
She's having a great time. She doesn't want to go back. The Mr. Collins in this is like the most disgusting Mr. Collins out of all the adaptations. It is unreal.
It's so gross. It's just because we were talking about it earlier. There's a particular bit which we will not repeat that is just...
Next one, Poldark.
Oh.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Oh my god. I feel like as soon as you say the word Poldark,
like
these violins need to start going it's the theme tune. Yeah, Poldark, which is just like pure, cozy, Georgian, Cornish
but
vibes.
Also stressful. Quite stressful.
Stressful, but also cozy to watch.
Yeah.
So it's set in Cornwall, and like, first of all, like, the scenery is just incredible. It's so beautiful, and you can go to the locations like I did. One of the reasons I love Poldark so much is because you've got, like, you know, the hunky lead, and he's you know, well,
problematic.
He's problematic.
Quite problematic.
Very problematic. You've also got really amazing female characters in it as well. So the main female character in it, Demelza, is just, like, so cool. She absolutely, like, just kicks ass, like, every single day. And she's a second in command. Where he's trying to fight these societal battles, she's right there. You learn a lot about mining. Yeah,
it gives you a good background, I think, of what was happening at the time. So this is not Regency.
1780s.
Okay.
And then in the current Poldark, like where they're kind of now, is like early 1800s.
And you also get a bit more working life, countryside stuff versus Jane Austen. Fancy mansions.
Yeah, there's a lot of farming, a lot of mining, a lot of smuggling.
Oh, yes.
Which is cool.
Plenty. Then another series, Outlander.
Another, like, sexy costume drama.
These are, what do they call, like, bodice rippers? Is that what it's called?
I've never heard of that before.
There's a really good cartoon by the Hark a Vagrant. I think it's like Mr. Darcy somewhere, and it's like bodices ripping all across the country. Anyways, Outlander. It's about a Second World War nurse who is on her honeymoon, or not on her honeymoon, like another like journey with her husband. It's like the second
honeymoon
with her husband, and they're in, I don't even know where they are. Are they in Scotland already?
Inverness.
And then she touches a stone, and she gets transported back to the past.
It's ridiculous.
Into, what's the time?
It's like the Jacobites and stuff.
She like runs into this Scottish clan.
In like the middle of a battle as well. She like turns up and she's like, oh, there's like red coats.
Yeah, and she's English in Scotland, which at the time, not appreciated. And then it's just about her, I guess, trying to build a new life, and like part of it's like accepting that she's gonna be there. It's also quite an intense series, but I love that someone being placed out of time, like with Lost in Austen. I think they got commended for like their like sex scenes because they're very like female focused, like from a female point of view, because of the setting of time. And like a lot of these things, a lot of like cultural things are not dealt with very well. And I feel like Outlander potentially does that bit better. Number 8, Far from the Madding Crowd. I've only seen that once. You've seen it a couple times?
I've seen it a couple of times with Carey Mulligan.
Yes. And 3 hunky leads. So it's all about this woman who inherits a farm, trying to run this farm. She's this free spirit, but then there's these like 3 different men from very different backgrounds that are in and out of her life, and she's trying to figure out what her future will be. The music, the cinematography again, the buildings, gorgeous. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
It literally makes you want to go and live on a farm in Dorset, but just permanent summer, because it seems to be permanent summer. Basically, in all of these period dramas, it seems to be permanent summer.
Except for when you send Jane on horseback to visit Mr. Bingley. But other than that...
Yeah, no, never. Literally clear blue skies and fields of corn. It's just what?
I actually went to all the locations from Far from the Madding Crowd years ago, and I have a video on my channel, which is actually one of my favourite videos I've ever made, so put that link in the description if you want to check it out. The next one's a sad one. Tess of the D'Urberville.
I mean, I have to say though, with Thomas Hardy, obviously,
so it's same author,
but Tess has a bad ride in comparison to in Far from the Madding Crowd, but both really strong like female leading characters, so that's definitely worth watching just for that anyway, especially for something that's quite old now. Eddie
Redmayne is in it, and Gemma Arterton, who plays Lizzie Bennet in Lost in Austen.
Oh my god, yes.
is Tess.
So much happens in this book and in the series. there's just too many bits. Like, there's some parts where she's like run away and she's learned how to milk a cow. There's one point where she's burying her baby.
But it's an interesting one, and it's a book I really want to reread. I think I maybe read a bit of it during my degree, but yeah, a film I want to... Wait, it's a miniseries I want to rewatch. Book I want to reread. Number 10. This is funny, because this is one we were like, does it go on this list? I guess it does. We
I feel
both
like it's
enjoyed
a bit different, but...
It is. The Favourite.
Which is definitely a more recent one as well. Yes. We're saying like the 90s Pride and Prejudice, and then The Favourite. It's a little bit different.
Yes, and The Favourite, I'm going to assume you've heard about it, about Queen Anne and two women in her court. It is so funny. Very like modern at the same time. I loved that film.
Yeah. Really weird things that rich Georgian people did that we just like are just not like, really spoken
some like
about.
duck racing.
Yeah.
There's like these fish islands that are used. It's great.
The location, a lot of it was filmed in Hampton Court Palace in London.
Cool.
So I haven't been there yet. And then I went there quite recently, and they did like a special recreation thing to do with The Favourite, where Queen Anne is just like sitting and they do it. That's amazing. I don't want to spoil it, but it's fun.
That's amazing. So that was our top 10. I'm really curious about whether you agree with this list. I definitely think, obviously, when it comes to like a collection of these costume dramas, it's not very diverse. I wonder if there's like different foreign films as well, or adaptations that are maybe not as well known. I'm really curious. I want to hear like every suggestion in the comments. But we're also very quickly are going to go through our bonus ones, which are ones that either like one of us hadn't seen or one of us didn't like. So very quickly.
So my first one is Bright Star, which is the film about John Keats's life. It is so beautiful. It's Ben Whishaw is the main. It plays John Keats in it, and it's about his love with his lover Fanny. And it's the first time I watched it, I literally felt the feelings of being in love. Like, you feel your heart like swell because it's so ridiculously romantic. And the music is beautiful. Actually, fun fact, Ben Whishaw then married the composer.
Oh!
So there's kind of a love story within a love story. The acting is like sublime. Everything is just, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
just amazing.
I love it so much. And I really don't think that many people have seen it, so I highly recommend it.
I am one of those people. I mean, classic of all classics, Shakespeare in Love. Oh, I've kept track of everything I've watched since like 2009. Every year, multiple times. It is just Gwyneth Paltrow. Is it Ralph Fiennes who's in it?
Yeah.
The costumes, the humor, the like some of the Shakespeare like stuff is very like they lay it on thick. Oh, what a subtle reference to the Shakespeare play. But I feel like the like dramatic love of it. And also it was when I was studying Shakespeare when I was like 15. I didn't speak English that well at school. I remember watching it and I was like, oh, this is everything we've been learning about, like the globe. And then whenever I tutored people, I'd be like, if you want to learn about the globe and stuff, just watch that film. Like, you'll get the general gist of like no women allowed on the stage, that kind of stuff, all the things you have to learn.
My next one is, oh my god, it's more Ben Whishaw and Romola Garai. So it's this BBC program called The Hour, which is, I think, the most underrated television drama, genuinely, of all time.
I've not seen it.
In my lifetime. It's set in the 1950s and it's about the BBC newsroom. So it's about the beginning of the news. So it's all set in like Lime Grove Studios. The costumes are beautiful. The setting, like the set dressing is incredible. There's all the stuff about, it's like the history of the BBC, the history of the news. And there's also like a Russian spy thriller that's happening underneath. And there's also a romance. It's got like one of my favourite actors called Anna Chancellor in it, and Peter Capaldi's in the second series. And it's written by Abby Morgan, who's also an amazing female writer.
My next one is two versions of Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights, my favourite classic, potentially my favourite book of all time. It's a messed up story. It's not one where you're like, wow, I'm really gonna romanticize this, but I still love it. I love a dark, doomed story. I'm not gonna say the years because I won't remember. There's the one that is, I think, the most recent one. They only do part of the story. It was filmed in 4:3, so like old YouTube size. A lot of like beautiful close-up shots of heath and wind, and it's very much just the atmosphere of it. It's also quite intense, like really shows that intense relationship of like the push and pull. And then there's the version with Tom Hardy. What a Heathcliff.
I feel like you've got Colin Firth is Mr. Darcy and Tom Hardy is Heathcliff. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything else about that version.
That's
I'm going to rewatch that like tomorrow.
My next one is Cranford, by one of the best authors, Mrs. Gaskell, and oh my god, I can't emphasise.
What is it about? I don't actually know what it's about.
Okay, so it's a village called Cranford. That's where it's set, and it's basically just all these old ladies who have always lived there,
yeah,
and they're all friends, and they just gossip. It's just old ladies gossiping, and there's like a new doctor that comes in. He's a young male doctor, and they were like, "Oh, have you seen the new doctor?" And it's literally this whole thing, and it's got Judi Dench in it. It's got amazing actors in it.
I mentioned this before. Anne with an E, adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, set in Canada. No clue what year it is, but just a lovely story of a girl who gets adopted by accident by this older brother and sister. They asked for a boy, they get a girl, and she's like, I will prove my worth, I'm as good as any boy. And she's such a great, like, again, a really feisty character. Have you seen any of it? You've never seen it?
No, but I know that it's actually one of the only adaptations that we've written down that's a children's book.
Then there's Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. I just think, again, it's such a fun adaptation.
I don't know why people don't like it, but I love it.
Do people not like it?
People don't like it. I think they think it's too, like, blockbuster, but I actually...
But it's great!
Oh my god, I love it. The second one, I think, is even better than the first.
It's really... I love their dynamic. I love the music. And then finally, one that I've recommended to you because you haven't watched it, Hysteria.
It looks so much fun.
It is Maggie Gyllenhaal. What's his name?
Jones.
Felicity Jones. Hugh Dancy.
Yes.
I guess it falls kind of in the Sherlock Holmes one where it's funny, it's cute, it's Victorian, and it's about the invention of the vibrator. It's about a doctor who is kind of like there before his time, and it's at the time where women with hysteria would go to the doctor, get a little massage, and he gets, RSI. He's like, I've got to come up with a solution. Meanwhile, there's like Maggie Gyllenhaal, feminist, like helps women from impoverished backgrounds, and they clash, and it's on UK Netflix. We promised 10, we're giving you like 25.
I know, sorry. So one which is probably I'd say a core for a lot of people is Downton Abbey, which is another super cozy one. It's like a period drama that is a soap.
The cast of characters is massive.
Yeah.
You've got upstairs, you've got downstairs.
It's just really lovely. It's got like the creme of the British acting industry in it.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith for a start, and Penelope Wilton. There's just so much that happens in it, so it's really hard to explain. But I'm pretty sure that all of you would know it anyway. It was just worth putting it on the list.
Yeah. And
And also the film is going to be out, I think it's next year.
I didn't even know there was a film coming.
Oh,
so this is news to me.
And then the last one is called Midwife. So this one is a little bit later. It's post-war, and it's set in Poplar in East London, and it's all about it's great, and it's all about a group of nuns who are also midwives, and there are other people who are also midwives, and basically go around delivering babies
on bicycles.
Yeah, in bicycles, and it was originally adapted from a book, and then they've gone beyond the book now.
Okay.
But I have to say, I think the first maybe like 3 series are especially
I've seen
really,
quite
really
a bit of it, and then I kind of stopped, so I want to go back to that as well.
They also cover quite a lot of bigger issues, so they talk quite a bit about abortion, about illegal abortion, about the sex industry at that point in time, and it highlights really serious things and also things that are topical now. Also has a really wide variety of cast. There's just again, I feel like it's another soap one. I feel like I've said the words lovely and cozy about 20
lovely
times.
And cozy and bodice ripping. Basically, we've set you up with, if you haven't watched all of these, like let's say the next 3 years of watching, including all the series that have like, I don't know how many seasons. I am super curious what your top 10 would be. Leave it in the comment below if there's anything that you think. I know we've missed some.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we've missed some. We were making this list and we were like, we just know
there's
something.
Some more stuff,
we just know there's something we've missed.
And people have like very different preferences, obviously. There's a lot of Jane Austen adaptations that I don't love, for example. That I'm like, yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. Maybe our personal tastes are particularly in this area, but I'd love to hear what other people's favourite eras are.
I've never really made a full video about this before, and I was like, why have I not done this before? And since we both love it, I figured we'd do it together. Where can people find you?
People can find me at Kezia Rose or at @thetimeladies_. I can pop it down there, or thetimeladies.com. So if you like Doctor Who, then come find me.
Do it!